What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about Brandon Stephens, one of the more controversial additions from this offseason. Steve Wilks talked about how the Jets plan on fixing some of his issues that showed up from a year ago. So one of the more head-scratching decisions from the New York Jets this past offseason was signing Brandon Stephens to a 3-year, $36 million contract. And why it was a little bit confusing to Jet fans was because 2 years ago in 2023, Stephens was emerging as a solid starting outside corner. Not necessarily a bona fide number one, but the Jets weren't looking to sign a bona fide number one. They have Sauce Gardner for that role. They were looking to replace DJ Reed. And in 2024, so this most recent year, Stephens took a very big step back, unfortunately. So fans were rightly confused by the addition because it's obviously depending on what version of Stephens are you getting. If it's 2023 Stephens, then okay, you're getting a solid starting outside corner. If you're getting last year's Brandon Stephens, then you're getting one of the worst starting outside corners in the NFL. And then on top of that, we've spent the last couple of months really debating on where's he going to play? Is he a corner or is he a safety? Early in his career, his first year in Baltimore, he played safety. And, some were thinking, well, skill set wise, that might make more sense. But the money that he got really makes you believe that he's going to play corner. Well, at least one thing is cleared up as Steve Wilks was talking about how the Jets plan on fixing some of the issues that showed up in Brandon Stephens' game a year ago. So here's the full quote. "I think he's got to do a better job when in position, finishing, making plays on the ball. That's something that we talked about during free agency. That's something that we continue to emphasize since he's been here. Getting on the jugs extra as far as catching the ball, working on certain drills, being in position, and looking back." And I think maybe one of the most frustrating things when you're watching the 2024 tape for Brandon Stephens is it's not like he gave up a ton of yards, but it's not like he's getting burned on plays and he's 10 yards behind running to catch up to these receivers that just blew past him. He's in position, but he's either not getting his head around or he just doesn't know where the ball is. And these are hopefully little things that you could tweak because it's annoying when, completions are happening right over your head time and time again. If that happens in 2024, we're going to see AZ Thomas a lot sooner than I think Brandon Stephens would like it. But if he's turning his head and, I'm not saying he's got to have 10 picks, but maybe catches 3 or 4 interceptions instead of 0 from a year ago, and isn't giving up 800 yards in receiving and 4 touchdowns, maybe giving up, I don't know, cut that in half almost, 500 receiving yards and a couple of touchdowns and a couple picks, then you're starting to go, okay, the Jets have something here. And, something that I noticed is, Steve Wilks throughout his career usually runs a lot more zone coverage, while Aaron Glenn is more of a press coverage guy. While Wilks is the DC, I think Stephens fits better, with his physicality in press coverage, which is more of Glenn's philosophy. So interested to see how Steve Wilks ends up deciding to deploy him and what kind of defense they're going to be running in season. But I'm glad that Steve Wilks pointed out to me what was an obvious issue with Brandon Stephens. And if they continue to work on that in the summer and it's an area where he improves, I think he could end up being okay. I don't know if he's going to be, 1-for-1, 22 and 23 DJ Reed, but is he going to be a capable starter? Yeah, I think there's a path to that happening. And hopefully that's the case rather than him being one of the league's worst outside corners. I don't think that's going to be beneficial for the New York Jets. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.